Breaking news! Things are heating up behind the scenes in Pittsburgh, and I have some important points to share with you today. We know a lot has already happened and more is yet to come throughout this season, but today we need to talk about Cam Hayward. What I've heard in the last few hours could change everything. I'm about to give you all the details, but before we begin, if you've been a Steelers fan for over 17 years, enjoy it now. And it's always good to see fans of all ages. If you're one of us, leave this in the comments. Go Steelers, my heart bleeds black and gold. Now, let's get straight to the point, because the story surrounding Cam Hayward is shaping up to be one of the most dramatic we've seen in years. For the first time since his layoff began, Hayward spoke publicly, and he didn't sugarcoat anything. He admitted he doesn't know how this situation will end, and yes, he's even willing to miss games if it comes to that. This isn't something you hear every day from someone who has been the heart and soul of this defense for over a decade. He's spoken with Omar Khan, Art Rooney too, and Mike Tomlin, and while the respect between the two sides is evident, the difference regarding his contract remains. Now, if you're wondering if this is just another negotiating tactic, you're not alone. Many fans will remember how TJ would handle his own extension, a firm stance, plenty of headlines, and eventually, a deal that was struck. It could be the same strategy, but make no mistake, Hayward has also made it clear that he won't continue to line up on Sundays as the 22nd highest paid player at his position, when his resume says he's much more than that. The ripple effect of this situation is massive. Without Hayward, this defensive front looks a lot different. Sure, guys like Keanu Benton, DeMarvin Leal, and rookie prospects have flashed potential, but replacing an all-pro veteran who still wrecks game plans is no easy task. The drop-off would be real, and it could change the entire complexion of the defense heading into Week 1 against the Jets. And while Cam's future is stealing the spotlight, there's another layer of mystery building around Calvin Austin III. He's been sidelined with what's being called an undisclosed injury, but Tomlin's vague answers have only fueled speculation. Is it minor? Is it serious? Nobody's saying. What we do know is that Austin was expected to have an expanded role this season, and every day he's off the field is another missed opportunity to prove he's ready to step into it. Now, don't get carried away with the conspiracy theories. No, there's no credible sign he's being traded or staging a hold-in, but this situation is strange, and the lack of transparency makes it stranger. Training camp itself has been a mixed bag of storylines. On one hand, you've got guys like Kenneth Gainwell showing versatility as a runner, pass catcher, and possible return man. You've got undrafted rookie Max Herman turning heads daily with his athleticism and hustle, even though there may not be a roster spot waiting for him without an injury opening the door. And then there's Scotty Miller, who, whether fans want to admit it or not, has been the second best wide receiver in camp behind DK Metcalf. That's not what the Steelers envisioned when they built this WR room, but that's been the reality on the field. But of course, there have been setbacks. Cornerback Darius Slay rolled his ankle, though early signs suggest it's not serious. And while Jalen Ramsey's return from a mysterious absence is a boost, questions still hang over Austin and what this WR group will look like by Week 1. The Steelers have been blessed so far this offseason with a lot going right, maybe too much. And if there's going to be a bump in the road before September 8th, the Hayward contract standoff could be it. The stakes are high. This isn't just about money, it's about leadership, identity, and the message sent to veterans who've given everything to this franchise. The front office has room under the cap to get something done, but the question is whether both sides can agree on just how much respect, in dollar form, a future Hall of Famer deserves at this stage of his career. So here's where I leave it to you, Steelers Nation. Do you think Cam Hayward's stance is justified, and should the team pay him what he's asking to keep him in black and gold? Or is it time to make a hard business decision, even if it means Week 1 kicks off without him? And here's where things get even more interesting, because while the Cam Hayward saga has dominated the headlines, the ripple effects of this standoff could quietly be reshaping how the Steelers handle the rest of this roster heading into September. Inside the building, there's a sense of urgency to keep Hayward in the fold, not just because of what he does on the field, but because of what he means in the locker room. This is a guy who's been the gold standard for professionalism in Pittsburgh, a mentor to young players, a steady voice when things get chaotic. But here's the thing, the front office also knows they've got an entire defensive line rotation to keep happy. If they throw an extra $7 to $10 million at Hayward, it's not just a matter of cutting the check. It could reset the market for their other veterans down the road. Omar Khan's walking a tightrope, trying to keep a championship-caliber roster intact while not setting a precedent that could haunt them in future negotiations. And while all this is unfolding, the wide receiver situation is shaping up to be its own wild subplot. Scotty Miller has not only locked in a roster spot, he's making a legitimate case to be one of the top targets in the offense. Every 2-minute drill, every contested catch, every precise route he runs in camp, he's reinforcing the idea that he's more than just depth. It's not the splashy storyline fans expected when the offseason began. fan, but reality is reality. Right now, outside of DK Metcalf, Miller has been the most consistent weapon on the field. That says a lot, and not all of it is comforting. Then there's Calvin Austin III, still on the shelf with an injury no one's willing to fully explain. We've seen the tight lips before when it comes to Tomlin's injury reports, but the lack of clarity here feels different. Fans were counting on Austin to stretch the field and take some of the heat off Metcalf, but with each passing day, his absence becomes a bigger question mark. The depth chart is starting to take shape, and every missed rep is an opening for someone else, maybe even Roman Wilson, who's been stacking good days and is looking more like a polished NFL receiver with every practice. And we can't ignore the running back room. Kenneth Gainwell continues to be one of the most intriguing pieces in camp, flashing as a runner, receiver, and possible return option. Caleb Johnson and Jaylen Warren are expected locks, but here's the twist. Trey Sermon is quietly making a case for himself, and it's entirely possible the Steelers carry 4 backs. The staff loves Gainwell's versatility, and Sermon's ability to handle short yardage work could make him too valuable to risk losing. On defense, the cornerback picture is tightening. Darius Slay's ankle tweak doesn't seem serious, but Brandon Echols taking slot reps is a signal that the team may be preparing for life without B. Bishop on the 53. Bishop has shown flashes, but the inconsistency in coverage and the emergence of Corey Trice as a potential depth option could push him out. The physicality on defense has been a highlight of camp, with guys like Peyton Wilson and Juan Thornhill setting the tone. Wilson, the soft-spoken linebacker who transforms into a relentless trash talker between the whistles, continues to bring an edge this defense needs. Thornhill, meanwhile, delivered one of the biggest hits of the preseason, the kind of play that sends a message to the rest of the league that Pittsburgh's secondary won't be pushed around. Still, the shadow of the Hayward negotiations looms large. This isn't just about one player, it's about what this team stands for. Do you reward a cornerstone for everything he's given, even if the numbers suggest you're paying for past performance? Or do you stick to the cold, calculated business side of the NFL, knowing that every dollar you save now could be used to keep younger stars down the road? Steelers Nation, the clock is ticking, the season opener is right around the corner, and the decisions made in the next few weeks could define not just this season, but the culture of this franchise for years to come. Whatever happens, you can bet it's going to be dramatic, it's going to be emotional, and it's going to have every one of us glued to the news. Steelers Nation, the stakes couldn't be higher. Cam Hayward's future, Calvin Austin's mystery injury, and surprising camp standouts are shaping what could be one of the most unpredictable starts to a season in years. Every decision from now until week 1 will define this team's path, and we're here for every twist and turn. Don't miss a second of it. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and drop your thoughts in the comments. Let's hear it loud and clear. Go Steelers, my heart bleeds black and gold. The next update could change everything. Stay tuned.